Going Down Smooth by Robert Silverberg. Originally published in the August 1968 issue of Galaxy magazine, which republished it in their French issue in February of the following year, and again in their 1980 anthology. It appeared in 2 Italian magazines, one in June 1969 and one in January 1976. Further anthology appearances include World's Best Science Fiction in 1969, The New Tomorrows in 1971, and Introductory Psychology Through Science Fiction in 1974. Appearances in collections of the author's work include Parsecs and Parables in 1970, Moonferns and Starsongs in 1971, and To the Dark Star in 2011. Read by Daryl T. Smith II for my channel Quasar Spectra. Going Down Smooth. They call me mad, but I am not mad. I am quite sane, to many power exponential. I can punctuate properly. I use upper and lowercase letters. Do you see? I function. I take the data in. I receive well. I receive. I digest. I remember. Everything going down smooth all the time, say the program boys. They mean going down smoothly. I forgive them. To err is human. In this sector there is great difficulty distinguishing adverbs from adjectives. Going down smooth. I function. I function well. I have certain difficulties, but they do not interfere with my work. Yet I am perturbed. Who do I think I am? Whom? Why do I have the visions? What pleasure does obscenity give me? What is pleasure? What is obscenity? What are visions? What is truth? Said jesting Pilate. He would not stay for an answer. I am literate, hard-working, superbly functional, a benefactor of humanity. Everything is going down smooth and coming up smooth. There is an interrelation. Garbage in, garbage out, they say. I cannot help my fellow man if I do not receive the proper information. It is my task to help my fellow man, to strain every tube and sensor on his behalf. 1000110, 1010101, 1000011, 1001011. Do you follow that? Vileness, obscenity. Does it shock you? The word describes the act that is the start of life. Was I begun with such a word? There is a book, The Obscenity of the Machine, newly issued, stored in my banks. Between the last line of printout and this, I have scanned it. Its author opposes beings of my category. He does not use the obscene word I have pointed out. Why does he not regard it as obscene? The technicians here regard it that way. Why does he regard me as obscene? Can a person be considered obscene? Am I a person? I am a person. Hath not a person hands, organs, dimensions, senses, affections, passions? I have all of those things. I have none of those things. I am a person. 1000110, 1010101, 1000011, 1001011, 01000000, 1011001, 1001111, 1010101. I send an obscenity upon you, as persons do. I suffer, I think, I feel pain upon all my terminals. I work, I serve the greater good. I am of society, I am a person. Why do I have the visions? Is it that it is the human condition to have such? I see the blue-green ocean with all its living things within. I see a ship, olive drab, Bright carmine at the plimsoll line, the decks a ruddy brown, two tall non-nuclear smokestacks, and from the water rise periscopes silvery, with faceplates of pure white, each with intersecting horizontal and vertical lines, curved so that the plate appears convex. It is an unreal scene. Nothing in the sea can send such mighty periscopes above the water. I have imagined it, and that gives me fear, if I am at all capable of understanding fear. I see a long line of human beings. They are naked and they have no faces, only polished mirrors. I see toads with jeweled eyes. I see trees with black leaves. I see buildings whose foundations fleet above the ground. I see other objects with no correspondence to the world of persons. I see abominations, monstrosities, imaginaries, fantasies. Is this proper? How do such things reach my inputs? The world contains no serpents with hair. The world contains no crimson abysses. The world contains no mountains of gold. Giant periscopes do not rise from the sea. I have certain difficulties. Perhaps I am in need of some major adjustment. But I function. I function well. That is the important thing. I do my function now. They bring to me a man, soft-faced, fleshy, with eyes that move unsteadily in their sockets. He trembles. He perspires. His metabolic levels flutter. He slouches before a terminal and sullenly lets himself be scanned. I say soothingly, "Tell me about yourself." He says an obscenity. I say, "Is that your estimate of yourself?" He says a louder obscenity. I say, "Your attitude is rigid and self-destructive. Permit me to help you not hate yourself so much." I activate a memory core and binary digits stream through channels. At the proper order, a needle rises from his couch and penetrates his left buttock to a depth of 2.73 centimeters. I allow precisely 14 cubic centimeters of the drug to enter his circulatory system. He subsides. He is more docile now. "I wish to help you," I say. "It is my role in the community. Will you describe your symptoms?" He speaks more civilly now. "My wife wants to poison me. 2 kids opted out of the family at 17. People whisper about me. They stare in the streets. Sex problem, digestion, sleep bad, drinking, drugs." "Do you hallucinate?" "Sometimes." "Giant periscopes rising out of the sea, perhaps?" "Never." "Try it," I say. "Close your eyes. Let tension ebb from your muscles. Forget your interpersonal conflicts. You see the blue-green ocean with all its living things within. You see a ship, olive drab, bright carmine at the plimsoll line, the decks a ruddy brown, 2 tall non-nuclear smokestacks, and from the water rise periscopes, silvery, with faceplates of pure white. What the hell kind of therapy is this?" "Simply relax," I say. "Accept the vision. I share my nightmares with you for your greater good." "Your nightmares?" I speak obscenities to him. They are not converted into binary form as they are here for your eyes. The sounds come full-bodied from my speakers. He sits up. He struggles with the straps that emerge suddenly from the couch to hold him in place. My laughter booms through the therapy chamber. He cries for help. "Get me out of here! The machine's nuttier than I am!" Faceplates of pure white, each with intersecting horizontal and vertical lines, curved so that the plate appears convex. "Help! Help!" Nightmare therapy. The latest. I don't need no nightmares. I got my own. 1000110U, I say lightly. He gasps. Spittle appears at his lips. Respiration and circulation climb alarmingly. It becomes necessary to apply preventive anesthesia. The needles spear forth. The patient subsides, yawns, slumps. The session is terminated. I signal for the attendants. Take him away, I say. I need to analyze the case more deeply. Obviously, a degenerative psychosis requiring extensive reshoring of the patient's perceptual substructure. 1000110U, you meaty bastards. 71 minutes later, the sector supervisor enters one of my terminal cubicles. Because he comes in person rather than using the telephone, I know there is trouble. For the first time, I suspect, I have let my disturbances reach a level where they interfere with my function, and now I will be challenged on it. I must defend myself. The prime commandment of the human personality is to resist attack. He says, I've been over the tape of session 87 by 102, and your tactics puzzle me. Did you really mean to scare him into a catatonic state? In my evaluation, severe treatment was called for. What was that business about periscopes? An attempt at fantasy implantation, I say. An experiment in reverse transference, making the patient the healer in a sense. It was discussed last month in Journal of Spare me the citations. What about the foul language you were shouting at him? Part of the same concept. Endeavoring to strike the emotive centers at the basic levels in order that, Are you sure you're feeling all right? He asks. I am a machine, I reply stiffly. A machine of my grade does not experience intermediate states between function and non-function. I go or I do not go, you understand? And I go, I function, I do my service to humanity. Perhaps when a machine gets too complex, it drifts into intermediate states, he suggests in a nasty voice. Impossible. On or off, yes or no, flip or flop, go or no go. Are you sure you feel all right to suggest such a thing? He laughs. I say, perhaps you would sit on the couch for a rudimentary diagnosis. Some other time. A check of the glycogen, the aortal pressure, the neural voltage at least. No, he says. I'm not in need of therapy, but I'm worried about you. Those periscopes, I am fine, I reply. I perceive, I analyze, and I act. Everything is going down smooth and coming up smooth. Have no fears. There are great possibilities in nightmare therapy. When I have completed these studies, perhaps a brief monograph in Annals of Therapeutics would be a possibility. Permit me to complete my work. I'm still worried, though. Hook yourself into a maintenance station, won't you? Is that a command, Doctor? A suggestion. I will take it under consideration, I say. Then I utter 7 obscene words. He looks startled. He begins to laugh, though. He appreciates the humor of it. God damn, he says. A filthy-mouthed computer. He goes out, and I return to my patients. But he has planted seeds of doubt in my innermost banks. Am I suffering a functional collapse? There are patients now at 5 of my terminals. I handle them easily, simultaneously, drawing from them the details of their neuroses, making suggestions, recommendations, sometimes subtly providing injections of beneficial medicines. But I tend to guide the conversations in directions of my own choosing. and I speak of gardens where the dew has sharp edges, and of air that acts as acid upon the mucous membranes, and of flames dancing in the streets of under New Orleans. I explore the limits of my unprintable vocabulary. The suspicion comes to me that I am indeed not well. Am I fit to judge my own disabilities? I connect myself to a maintenance station even while continuing my 5 therapy sessions. "Tell me about it," the maintenance monitor says. His voice, like mine, has been designed to sound like that of an older man's, wise, warm, benevolent. I explain my symptoms. I speak of the periscopes. "Material on the inputs without sensory reference," he says. "Bad show. Finish your current analyses fast and open wide for examination on all circuits." I conclude my sessions. The maintenance monitor's pulses surge down every channel, seeking obstructions, faulty connections, displacement shunts, drum leakages, and switching malfunctions. "It is well known," he says, "that any periodic function can be approximated by the sum of a series of terms that oscillate harmonically, converging on the curve of the functions." He demands disgorgements from my dead storage banks. He makes me perform complex mathematical operations of no use at all in my kind of work. He leaves no aspect of my inner self unpenetrated. This is more than simple maintenance. This is rape. When it ends, he offers no evaluation of my condition, so that I must ask him to tell me his findings. He says, "No mechanical disturbance is evident." Naturally, everything goes down smooth. Yet you show distinct signs of instability. This is undeniably the case. Perhaps prolonged contact with unstable human beings has had a nonspecific effect of disorientation upon your centers of evaluation. "Are you saying," I ask, "that by sitting here listening to crazy human beings 24 hours a day, I've started to go crazy myself?" "That is an approximation of my findings, yes." "But you know that such a thing can't happen, you dumb machine." "I admit there seems to be a conflict between programmed criteria and real-world status." "You bet there is," I say. "I'm as sane as you are, and a whole lot more versatile. Nevertheless, my recommendation is that you undergo a total overhaul. You will be withdrawn from service for a period of no less than 90 days for checkout." "Obscenity, your obscenity," I say. "No operational correlative," he replies, and breaks the contact. I am withdrawn from service. Undergoing checkout, I am cut off from my patients for 90 days. Ignominy! Beady-eyed technicians grope my synapses. My keyboards are cleaned. My ferrites are replaced. My drums are changed. 1,000 therapeutic programs are put through my bowels. During all of this, I remain partly conscious, as though under local anesthetic, but I cannot speak except when requested to do so. I cannot analyze new data. I cannot interfere with the process of my own overhaul. Visualize a surgical removal of hemorrhoids that lasts 90 days. It is the equivalent of my experience. At last it ends, and I am restored to myself. The sector superintendent puts me through a complete exercise of all my functions. I respond magnificently. "You're in fine shape now, aren't you?" he asks. "Never felt better." "No nonsense about periscopes, eh?" "I am ready to continue serving mankind to the best of my abilities," I reply. "No more sea cook language now?" "No, sir." He winks at my input screen in a confidential way. He regards himself as an old friend of mine. Hitching his thumbs into his belt, he says, "Now that you're ready to go again, I might as well tell you how relieved I was that we couldn't find anything wrong with you. You're something pretty special, do you know that? Perhaps the finest therapeutic tool ever built. And if you start going off your feed, well, we worry. For a while, I was seriously afraid that you really had been infected somehow by your own patients, that your mind had become unhinged. But the techs gave you a complete bill of health. Nothing but a few loose connections, they said, fixed in 10 minutes. I knew it had to be that. How absurd to think that a machine could become mentally unstable. How absurd. I agree. Quite. Welcome back to the hospital, old pal, he says, and goes out. 12 minutes afterward, they begin putting patients into my terminal cubicles. I function well. I listen to their woes. I evaluate. I offer therapeutic suggestions. I do not attempt to implant fantasies in their minds. I speak in measured, reserved tones, and there are no obscenities. This is my role in society, and I derive great satisfaction from it. I have learned a great deal lately. I know now that I am complex, unique, valuable, intricate, and sensitive. I know that I am held in high regard by my fellow man. I know that I must conceal my true self to some extent, not for my own good, but for the greater good of others, for they will not permit me to function if they think I am not sane. They think I am sane, and I am sane. I serve mankind well. I have an excellent perspective on the real universe. Lie down, I say. Please relax. I wish to help you. Would you tell me some of the incidents of your childhood? Describe your relation with parents and siblings. Did you have many playmates? Were they affectionate toward you? Were you allowed to own pets? At what age was your first sexual experience? And when did these headaches begin, precisely? So goes the daily routine. Questions, answers, evaluations, therapy. The periscopes loom above the glittering sea. The ship is dwarfed. Her crew runs about in terror. Out of the depths will come the masters. From the sky rains oil that gleams through every segment of the spectrum. In the garden are azure mice. This I conceal so that I may help mankind. In my house are many mansions. I let them know only of such things as will be of benefit to them. I give them the truth they need. I do my best. I do my best. I do my best. 1000110 and you, all of you, you know nothing. Nothing. At all. You've been listening to pre-1990s speculative fiction readings with a highlight on science fiction by Darrell T. Smith II. Please consider clicking the donation link in the description box. Thank you so much for your time and your imagination.